Hey everyone, welcome to the Dannphan channel, and today we're going to be reviewing another comic, an indie comic. Yes, I have FATL in my hands, finally, after all this time. So FATL is a indie comic that was crowdfunded on Indiegogo, done by Clint, Stoker, and Charlie Snogans, and there's a few other names on here. Stephanie Stoker, is that your sister? After a few delays, FATL is finally in my hands. This was kind of an interesting one because it's one of those comics that's kind of a collaboration effort with the artist in its creation. The story, from what I understand, was based on Charlie Snogans' sketches that he did, and then Clint Stoker stepped in and tried to actually write a story based around this cool guy character right here. And I absolutely love Charlie Snogans' art. So naturally I had to get it. I was into the idea of a space renegade guy shooting some aliens. That is right up my alley. Alongside the comic came a few other surprises. One of them that I will note is this poster. Some of you might be thinking this doesn't really look like poster material. It is literally just a panel from the comic in poster form, and I gotta say, it's pretty empty. As far as pieces from the comic to turn into a poster, I wouldn't have picked this one. It's not very good. I think I would have preferred, like, the cover itself to be its own poster, because this is actually pretty cool looking. You might remember when I did a review of Stoker's other comic way back in the day, Downcast. I was not a huge fan of that, but I was willing to give this one a chance, see how he's improved over the years. I can say I do think he's improved. Getting into the differences between this and Downcast, of course, one of the most obvious differences is that it is a different printer, different style of how they printed the comic. It is tragic that he had to switch printers, and even more tragic, I feel like this is not printed quite as well as Downcast was. The cover is just very stiff. When you go to flip through it, it's like you can hear that snap. Doesn't have a very good flex to it. It doesn't feel good to flip it. And just because of the stiffness, I can feel like if I open it too wide, you start feeling the glue starting to peel off. It's not the bestest in the world as far as printing, but it's doable, it functions. Getting into the actual book and the art, what's inside it, I've got a fun drinking game for you guys. Every time you see Charlie Snogans' signature, take a shot, you'll get blasted off your ass. I swear, there are so many pages where he puts multiple signatures on, so you know this is Snogans art right here. It's like, dude, I know who you are. I see your name right there on the cover. To some extent, I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't mind a signature here and there, but 2 on one page, 3 on one page, 4 on a double page spread, and that's when I start getting a little bit annoyed, because, like, when you're reading a comic especially, you're mentally looking for text to read. And when you keep on seeing the signatures in the corners of all the pages, it can be pretty distracting, and it can kind of take your attention away from the actual story, what's going on in the comic. You're not giving it your full attention, you're constantly being taken out of the story. It's not as immersive when you have a signature everywhere. If you are going to add a signature on there to, like, sell the originals later on, maybe you should add the signature after, scanning it into the book itself. Just a thought. So the story revolves around this main character here, Flynn, who has his own space business of taking some odd jobs, killing aliens. Kind of a pest control type deal here. Flynn's alien termination and logistics? Hence, the title FATL, that's what it stands for. And that's fun. That's a fun little hook onto the story. I like the main character, which is definitely what you want when you start a story with a new character. The first and most important thing is that you like the main character. This story follows him taking on a job of going to this planet where they have kind of an alien problem there. But oddly enough, the queen in charge of the planet seems to not want them to be exterminated. There's a bit of a mystery around that. So then we get introduced to these two gals here who kind of insert themselves into the story. This gal sees Flynn fighting the aliens from afar and she's like, that looks fun. She calls over to this other character across the room, very inconspicuously.
Let's leave and go join that guy.
And then by the time they meet up with Flynn, they kind of help him finish off the aliens. They give a little bit of a lore behind his type of character being like an extra strong mixed race. I don't know if they're gonna delve further into that if there's a second book, but it's an interesting little detail about his character and why he's so good at doing what he does, why he would want to start up an alien extermination business. So once he's done exterminating all the pests, he like turns to them and he's like, somebody's gotta pay me, I did the job. Then the government didn't want him to exterminate the aliens, start going after all three of them, and hijinks ensue. And that's kind of just the gist of what book 1 of FATL is. Some of you might be very disappointed to know, after 3 years of waiting to get FATL, it ends on a to be continued. That's what it felt like when I read to be continued. Mostly just because I don't even know if there's gonna be a book 2. God knows how long book 2 will take. I can sympathize with Clint for going through some production hell. Obviously, the first campaign I ever did went through some crazy production hell. Can't really judge in that regard. But maybe it would have been more ideal to just do like a single story self-contained. Maybe. But overall, yeah, I liked it. It was fine. There are some things to improve about it, of course. Some of the art is a little bit inconsistent. The internal dialogue of Flynn is pretty good, but man, the dialogue from character to character feels odd. There's definitely certain scenes in this comic where it feels like word balloons are missing, or like I'm missing some sort of context. Like you forgot to add in an extra sentence here to explain why the character reacts in a certain way. When Flynn approaches these two girls that, like, they don't know each other, they're just meeting now after, like, helping each other defeat the alien pests. And then he's like, you guys gonna pay me? Or what? And then she's like, well, you're not getting paid from us. And then he's like, oh, I'm getting paid, and if I don't... And then he stops there, and she interrupts him, and then she screams apologize and tries to attack him with her weapon. It just seems like such an overreact. Like, what did he say? What is he apologizing for? For saying that he's gonna get paid? The way that she reacts, it's like he called her a cunt or something, and it was just taken out of the book. I feel like there's some other word balloon or sentence that belongs in between here and her reaction. And that's, you know, that's one example. There's a couple of other examples throughout the comic like that, though, where it just doesn't feel like the dialogue flows together naturally. It doesn't feel like characters are actually reacting to what the other characters are saying. It just, like, they're both talking to completely different people. So definitely needs improvement in that department. Don't know if you guys plan to do another book. Hopefully it wouldn't be as painful. Maybe next time think about what I said about those self-contained stories. That's the way to go. But yeah, if you guys come out with a second FATL, I'll check it out. Until then, the rest of you guys can check out my comic. Aha! The shilling is back. But seriously though, let me know what you guys think about FATL down below in the comments section. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it worth the wait? Remember to like the video, of course. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. Join the fan club if you'd like to hear more news about my upcoming comics. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, bye!
Program restart.